It's Friday, December 5th, 2025. Welcome to episode 182 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, City Council tackles inclusionary housing and lets Mylar balloon sales continue. The Planning Board returns to Alameda Point. The Food Bank and Christ Episcopal to unveil new services, a brazen robbery at a local 7-Eleven. Alameda Fire Department honors one of their own, a holiday gift guide devoted to Alameda. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. On Tuesday, City Council held a workshop about updating the Inclusionary Housing Ordinance, which aims to increase affordable housing for low and moderate income residents by requiring new residential developments to include affordable units. Planning Director Alan Ty and Planning Services Manager Steve Buckley presented the analysis designed to gather guidance from Council as staff continues refining the ordinance. Director Ty explained the current inclusionary requirement, 15% affordable, divided 4% very low, 4% low, and 7% moderate, has been unchanged for 20 years and no longer reflects Alameda's housing needs or market conditions. Manager Buckley described distinctions between rental and ownership housing economics, noting that moderate income rentals often remain vacant because their rents are set by a federal formula rather than current market conditions, meaning they can, at times, be more expensive than comparable market rate apartments. Among other suggestions, staff is recommending shifting to a 15% low-income unit for rentals and a 5% low-income, 10% moderate income for ownership. Council members' commentary largely reflected the need for a combination of clearly defined regulations coupled with flexibility. An updated ordinance will be considered in 2026. In other business, Council held its fourth infrastructure workshop, this one focused on shoreline protection, with Sustainability and Resilience Manager Danielle Miller. Alameda recently won a Senate Bill 1 grant to complete its shoreline adaptation plan and a Proposition 4 grant to advance the Bay Farm Island project and is pursuing additional federal and regional funds. Still, long-term needs far exceed current resources. Near-term shoreline adaptation requires $295 million, with only $26.5 million secured so far. Communications Director Sarah Henry concluded by outlining that Alameda has identified over $1 billion in total infrastructure needs. The city will conduct public polling in coming weeks to assess community priorities and potential revenue measures. Council will receive options for new funding mechanisms early next year following community input. Also during the meeting, Alameda Recreation and Parks Director Justin Long presented his department's annual fee schedule update, with most fees increasing by 3 to 5%. Alameda Aquatic Masters swimmers objected to the plan to raise pool lane rental rates. As a result, Council unanimously voted to approve all non-aquatic fees and to table aquatic fees for further review, with existing rates remaining in effect until the revised proposal returns. Finally, Council held an extended late-night discussion on whether to move forward with a local ban on Mylar balloons. The Council was split on the issue, with Tracy Jensen arguing for a ban on environmental grounds, while Tony Desog questioned the benefit of a ban in light of the regulatory burden. In the end, the ban failed on a 2-3 vote. Staff will integrate Mylar and lighter-than-air balloon prohibitions into city facility rental agreements. Full coverage of the meeting in Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. This coming Monday, the Planning Board will consider approving the design, map, and new street names for Phase A of the West Midway development at Alameda Point. Phase A 12.4-acre section of the 26-acre project at West Midway Avenue and Main Street, proposes 284 housing units in 62 buildings, including duets, 3-story townhomes, and 4-story condominium buildings. Among the items to be approved, accessibility and affordability requirements, along with adherence to city guidelines. The Planning Board will also review staff's recommendation to approve the removal of 65 trees of various species between 1 and 38 inches in diameter, and the planting of 101 new trees, along with the retention of 91 existing trees related to the construction of the Clement Avenue Tilden Way Improvement Project. 4 of the trees scheduled for removal are coastal live oaks, which are protected under Alameda's municipal code and require Historical Advisory Board approval. This project also includes the proposed new dog park. For full details on the Planning Board's agenda, along with ways you can get involved, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Some great developments for those in need. As reported back in episode 179, the new Alameda Food Bank is up and running, incredible facility. Mark your calendars for Saturday the 13th when AFB is holding a community open house from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 677 11 West Ranger Avenue. The casual drop-in event will include tours of the facility and your chance to talk with staff about operations, as well as how you can get involved. We'll have a preview of the open house on Monday at alamedapost.com/news. Hope you can join me Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on KCSM HD2 or streaming from the kcsm.org website, when my guest on the Alameda Connection will be Teal Harden, the Executive Director of the Alameda Food Bank. Another helping organization is unveiling improvements. Christ Episcopal Church, the home of the Alameda Warming Shelter, has made some upgrades. The shelter opened for the season on Wednesday the 3rd and will remain open through April, a one-month extension from previous years. This Sunday, Christ Church will hold a blessing for the newly installed laundry machines that will enable the church to offer laundry services to those who take advantage of the Sunday afternoon shower program, which provides shower facilities and new undergarments and supplies to Alameda's unhoused. In addition to the laundry, a third shower has been installed, allowing more people to take advantage of the year-round service. The community is encouraged to join the celebration Sunday at noon in the parish hall. That's the same part of the church that hosted the annual Thanksgiving dinner this past week. Details at alamedapost.com/news. Speaking of Thanksgiving, not a very happy Thanksgiving for the 7-Eleven at Buena Vista and Webster. At around 4:20 a.m. Thanksgiving morning, a vehicle was driven through the front of the store. According to police reports, the perp or perps made off with a safe or ATM machine and potentially other merchandise. Our own Ken Durr surveyed the scene and reported several shelves sustained extensive damage. Part of the checkout counter had been ripped from the ground. Portions of the ceiling had also collapsed. The robbery appears to match a pattern of similar robberies at other 7-Eleven stores in the Bay Area. Investigation ongoing. Ken Durr has story and pictures at alamedapost.com/news. You might have wondered why flags were at half-staff on Monday here in Alameda. That was in honor of Doug Clifton, retired division chief of the Alameda Fire Department, who served the department from 1979 until his retirement in 2007. Clifton was killed along with his partner Catherine Katz in a motorcycle accident in Utah in September, ironically while riding to Colorado Springs to attend an International Association of Firefighters Fallen Firefighter Memorial Service. The AFD shared their remembrances of Chief Clinton in a recent Facebook post. Chief Clinton and Ms. Katz were also eulogized earlier this year by another Bay Area group, Grateful Dead fans. Clifton and Katz were beloved Deadheads who were frequently spotted in the front row of concerts of the extended Dead family of musicians, according to GratefulWeb.com. Our condolences to the families of Chief Clinton and Ms. Katz. Turning to happier thoughts, it's time once again for the tap-dancing Christmas trees to strut their way across the Bay Area. No trip to the Macy's parade this year, but the trees are plenty busy as they celebrate their 35th anniversary. This year, the troupe features 15 new members, or saplings as they are called. Our own Kelly Rogers Flint caught up with the troupe members, and they shared their experiences from auditions in May to rehearsals in September to their first performance at the Castro Valley Light Parade. The trees will be at the lighting of the Alameda City Tree Saturday at City Hall, as well as December 12th at Christmas Tree Lane. Find Kelly's full story along with pictures and links to the complete 2025 schedule at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. For more insight into Alameda's beloved holiday tradition, check out my interview with Pam Drake, the founder and director of the Trees. She was my guest on the Alameda Connection last Sunday. Find that episode on demand at kcsm.org or starting this Sunday in your podcast feed or on my YouTube channel. You can also take in the new Trees documentary film, 3 Generations on Parade, Friday night at 7 at Faction Brewing. On the subject of Alameda holiday traditions, the Food Bank Players are once again offering their annual gift of Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Performances are the next 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, at First Congregational Church, the corner of Central and Chestnut. Fridays and Saturdays at 7 p.m., Sundays at 4 p.m. Admission is free, but donations are encouraged. All proceeds benefit the Alameda Food Bank. If you need some help with your holiday shopping, we've got you covered. Publisher Adam Gillett has teamed up with Corinne Afghanim-Wilk of Alameda Zine to provide a great guide to finding gifts locally. Why shop local? It's more than about just feeling good. For every $1 you spend at a small business, 67 cents stays in the local community. Among the items on the list, fresh floral bouquets, 3D wooden maps, vintage sweaters, pet toys, hot cocoa sets, and pinball outings. Check out the great suggestions, all reasonably priced and ready to go, at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. I want to take a moment and thank you, the listeners. Thanks to you making the show part of your routine and spreading the word, the Alameda Postcast recently surpassed 50,000 downloads. 90% of all podcasts don't make it beyond 3 episodes. Of the ones that do, 90% of those don't make it past episode 20. So thank you for making the Alameda Postcast the success story that it is. It is truly an honor to be with you week after week. Find the Alameda Post on all the social media platforms, now including TikTok. You can subscribe to us on Apple News and sign up for our weekly newsletter at alamedapost.com/newsletter. Get the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 183 of the Alameda Postcast.